Welcome to episode 43 of the Total Hockey Training Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Sean Skahan. And before I introduce my next guest, I just want to tell everyone about the new online community that I started. And the link is going to be in the bio below. It's awesome. It's fun. I have a lot of big goals and expectations I'm going to get out of this. It's Total Hockey Training, it's on school. And my plan is to have guests from all over the world of hockey, whether that be players, NHL players, college hockey players, whatever. Plan on having scouts, agents, advisors, coaches, management professionals from the NHL. I plan on having it to be a community about helping you achieve your goals, whether that's to make it to college hockey, to make it to the NHL. We want to be the resource to help you get there. And I'm looking forward to growing this. So, all right, my next guest. Listen, before I introduce my next guest, I just want to let everyone know I was very hesitant about having this guest on, but a lot of people said you should have him on. You should have him on and talk about your experiences and stories, ask him questions that a lot of listeners may want to know. And I think that's pretty cool. So here I am. My next guest is Will Skahan. Will is currently a freshman at Boston College, where he's a defenseman on the hockey team. He is also a second round pick by Utah in the second round at the 2024 NHL draft. But most importantly, he is my son, my oldest, an older brother to his little brother Wyatt, and just an unbelievable person to me. And I love him so much. Will, welcome to the show, pal.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is fun. This is going to be fun. You're in a hotel right now during
Mhm.
the, I guess, the holiday break at school, and I thought we'd do this. So I appreciate you
Yeah.
taking the time.
Yeah, of course.
So how are you, pal?
Good. It's been a good start to the week here. Moved in to the hotel Sunday night. Um yeah, we're practicing at the Conti, which is good, but dorms aren't open yet, so that's why we're here. But yeah, it's been a great week. Finally getting back to skating with full contact and being back is being back with the team is pretty important too. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Good for you. And so all the listeners, and if you're on video, I am wearing my Boston College shirt and my Utah hat. So I'm this kid's biggest fan. Well, maybe not as much as your grandfather, but all right. Hey, talk about where you're from and your background. Like you're not talking to your dad. You're talking to some stiff podcast host.
Yeah, so I grew up in Orange County. Um, Probably lived there for the first 9 years of my life, and then we moved to Hanover, Mass. Lived there for I don't know, probably like 10 months or something, and then moved to Minnesota, Woodbury. Started playing hockey. I don't know when I was like 3 years old, maybe, um, and played for Junior Ducks growing up in Cali, which was fun because there's not much hockey out there, and you kind of gotta there's only a select few teams out there. But then we moved to Boston, played for Junior Terriers, played in the Brick with the Junior Bruins, which was an unreal experience. Um, and then when we made the move to Minnesota is kind of when my hockey career kind of began to start in my eyes. Because hockey's so important up there, and it's the best thing there. And so I think, yeah, I think the moves have been great. I played for Woodbury Association in my youth, and then I played for Shattuck, and then I played for St. Thomas Academy, and then 2 years the National Development Program, and now I'm here my first year at BC. So yeah,
I love it. And so your dad moved his family quite a bit, different parts of the country. What were those transitions like for you?
yeah, I think the first one was the hardest, obviously, because I was in the same school, like I had the same friends before I moved. I didn't really know what to expect, just because I was so young and didn't really know what was going on entirely. And then when I moved to Massachusetts, I was thankful to have one of my teammates as in the same town as us. So that kind of helped me a ton. His name's TJ. We created. He helped me create new friends, and I think that was the biggest part. Just like meeting new people and kind of moving into new environments, like that has really helped me. Like even like just coming to BC like my first year, like I adapted really well to like how the community was and how the environment was here, just from previous experiences of doing that. And I think it's really helped me as just as a person become better like socially. I think that was pretty those were pretty important transitions for me, just how I am to now today. So yeah.
I love that. And that's, yeah, I love that. Thank you. I think most listeners will want to know, what is it like to be the son of a pro hockey strength and conditioning coach or a strength and conditioning coach who's only done that, as far as you remember. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. It's different. Most kids have a dad who works a 9 to 5, and you see him a lot. Um, and like when the NHL season going on, I wouldn't see you as much as other people would see their dads. But just as in your profession, I'd say it's been a huge help for me. Like it's helped me stay in shape and be strong and be quick on the ice. But also like working out with you and working out with other kids in the groups, like I never really get singled out. I'm just a part of the group, which has been good for me. That's kind of everyone's first expectation that I've been told, I guess. But it's been great. I think I believe in what you say more than anybody that I'll meet throughout my hockey career. And I've been doing it for a little while now. So I think it's been a great help for me in my career and helped me stay at the top of my game for sure.
I love it. Do you remember going to Ducks games when you were a little kid?
Yeah, definitely. We go all the time. Um, yeah, I think the one thing that really sticks out to me about that, like I remember this bright as day, is just like always texting you after having after games, like hey, like can I come down to the locker room, and you'd always come get me and we'd always go. But that was awesome. I think seeing all the players after the games, um, kind of just wanted me to be like them in a way. I think it was really cool, and just seeing how professionally they are as just athletes and how they do their job. Like that's their job.
Hmm.
I think that's really set a fire in me. Going to those Ducks games really helped me want to become a professional hockey player. But the Ducks games helped me a ton in my career. It kind of set a foundation for what I wanted to do and for the rest of my life.
Awesome. Okay, let's talk about how and when you got into strength training, performance training. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think I think it was um, the year after my fifth grade, so probably like 11 years old. We worked out at Cretin Derm,
Hmm.
and like I remember this so bright because at the beginning of the summer, like I couldn't do a pull up. I was still this kid with baby fat, and I go through a summer of training with you and my buddies, and like the end of the summer, like I did 5 pull-ups or whatever. Like it's just it's really awesome to see those improvements because it makes you think like wow, like this works, and this helps you a ton just being a person who wants to be fit or being an athlete. um I think it's been great. I think yeah, it's been really fun too. Like I've really like there's never a day where I'm like, oh shoot, like I have to go to the gym today. You know what I mean? I always
Hmm.
want to go. So yeah.
You were the same with practice too. It was
Yep.
never, it was never pulling teeth to get you to go to practice. It was, let's go. And even when you were 4 or 5 years old, I remember that. Okay, let me ask you this. Did you feel that I made you do it, or Or did I ever put you in harm's way?
No, no, definitely not. Um, if I didn't really want to become a professional athlete, like if I wanted to do something else or you know, do something else where I'm like not that's not involving like physical, movements or whatever, like I wouldn't have gone. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I did want to go. I did want to become the best player that I could be. And yeah, I don't think you've ever really made me do anything regarding strength training.
That's good. That's glad to hear that. Obviously, for those listening, strength training when you're, like Will said, 11 years old, it doesn't stunt your growth. How tall are you, Will?
6'5".
6'5". And so it doesn't stunt your growth for listeners out there or parents who might be cautious about having their child start strength training. I always say it like if it's done in a supervised environment with someone that knows what they're doing with proper form and technique, there's nothing wrong with it. And actually, I think it was Mike Boyle might have posted sometimes like he theorized that strength training could help you get taller, which I mean, I don't know. Will's tall and he strength trained when he was young, so if that
Yeah.
helps. Okay, well, talk about getting drafted. Like, what was that like for you? I know what it was like for me. Talk about your experience, go from what's going through your mind and all these picks are going through, and then boom. Talk about that, bud.
Yeah. So before the draft, I kind of had an idea of that I would be selected in the draft, but it never really set in until I walked into that sphere the first day where I'm like, oh my God, like I'm actually here. Cause like my whole life, like I've always watched the NHL draft just because, I love the game and I love that kind of stuff. And, like it really set in when they announced the first pick. I'm like, this is really happening. So I was nervous. I was anxious. I don't know. I think it was a really emotional day. And I'm not saying like I cried or anything, but like just like the train of thoughts going through my head in that chair, like whenever a team would come up and be like, all right, this could maybe happen. And then,
Mhm.
you know, when when Utah got up there and said my name, I was like the first like 2 minutes where I got up and hugged you and mom and Wyatt, like I don't know, like I don't remember that at all, which is weird. But I
Yeah.
do remember like going down, meeting all the staff and whatnot. But those first 2 minutes, like I don't remember a single thing. And but after it happened too, like it really kind of set in. Like I'm getting texts from a lot of people and like tell me congratulations, and they're sending me videos of if they were in the sphere or whatever. But like I don't know, it's that was pretty awesome. Um, but yeah, I think it was really really fun looking back at it. But like I was a little nervous going in, and um, but I'm really happy for what happened. So
It's awesome. And I remember you had a little idea or a hope that Utah was going to select you. And I think when the team before Utah went, you watched their draft table, right? And they
yeah,
were fist
they were all like,
pumping.
oh yeah, I'm like,
Yeah,
all
isn't
right,
that cool? I don't
yeah,
know. I'm not again, guys. He's not on here for to brag or anything. This is real life stuff, and it's very helpful, I think, for kids that are listening or parents. Okay, talk about the development camp then that you went out there to. You went there right
yeah,
after the draft from Vegas.
yeah. That was pretty fun. A lot of teams in the NHL, you go right from the draft to camp, which is pretty cool. Just to get it going right away, which I liked. I flew right from Vegas to Salt Lake City, and right when I got there, like the place is unbelievable. Like that was the first time I've ever been there, and place is awesome. It was really really beautiful. The mountains are really cool, and Yeah, this is Utah's first year holding a dev camp. So, um, we had a little spot in uh, Park City, which is up in the mountains a little bit, and it was just beautiful. We stayed on a resort, where everybody on a golf course, and we everybody got their own room, and I got like a hot tub next to the golf course, which was sweet. And but like but dev camp itself, like I didn't really know what to expect. Now it made me feel like I was a part of the organization, which I am, but it doesn't really feel like that when you're playing for another team below the NHL. And uh, Bill Armstrong was really kind of built the guys together really well. We all kind of bonded really well. I made a lot of new friends, friends that I'll see for a little while now, and it was really fun. It wasn't like a super hard dev camp, which some camps are. Um, but yeah, we played a scrimmage at where they play now, which was sweet in the Delta Center. That was really cool. A lot of people were there too. That was really fun. And yeah, it was a great time. The owner really made sure it was a really comfortable spot for the prospects and the staff, and I think that's what made it such a great camp, to be honest. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, it's so cool, so awesome. It's yeah, it's mind blowing sometimes. Okay, let's get into Boston College. It's funny. It's so listeners know their strength coach is Russ DeRosa, just a great guy, beauty, and he's been there for 23 years, I think, 24 years. And it's funny because when I left Boston College to work for the Mighty Ducks, then Russ took over for me. So Russ has been there a long time, and now he's gets to be Will's strength coach. But let's get into BC, everything about it. What do you love about it there, and what's it like? What's the culture like?
Yeah. Like just the area in general, like, you're 15 minutes outside of Boston. You can get there by train. You're so close to like BU and Northeastern and whatnot. But yeah, the campus is beautiful. Like you hear about it a lot, but it actually is. It's gorgeous. It's really nice. The people here are really they're awesome. They're all really funny, they're all smart, it's a smart school. Um, they're all just good people. I think I haven't met a single person I'd say that's a bad guy or whatever. But
Hmm.
but yeah, outside of the hockey, like it's been really fun. The team brought in us freshmen and really made us a part of the team just from the get-go. It's been really fun. Yeah, it's been a blast so far. The first half of the season was fun too. Like, we sell out most of our home games. Um, we have some really good players in our team.
Hmm.
We have a we have a great team and we win games. Great coaching staff, and it's all I can ask for right now. So
Awesome. Okay, let's talk about your injury. Um, talk about your injury. I want the listeners to know what it's like to go through an injury. And you won't get a better idea unless you ask someone who's been injured, going through an injury and is rehab. So talk about that, bud.
yeah, so before this, I've never been injured like mid-season ever in my life, until I separated my shoulder against UConn. Was kind of reaching for the puck, and the guy, I kind of saw him come, but I didn't see him come at me at full speed, and he went right through my shoulder and got up. I was like, this is not right, and saw Bert, our trainer. He kind of just said like, hey, like, yeah, this AC sprain, you're done for the day. We'll look at it tomorrow or whatever. And my first thoughts running through my head were like I don't want like I'm playing next weekend. You know what I mean? Like that's just kind of how athletes are. If you're really dedicated to really playing your sport, you know what I mean? If you really love the game, you want to get out there as quick as you can. And I wanted to be back the next weekend. And then they told me I'd be out for like 4 weeks. And I was like, oh shoot, like I gotta wake up. So I texted you. I said, hey, like is this common? Like what am I supposed to do here? And he's like, you're like, yeah, like just you gotta stay conditioned, stay on the assault bike, be a part of the team though. It's gonna feel like they're left out a little bit, when you're up in the press box and the team's like doing like their pregame chants or whatever, and you're like just sitting on the outside. It makes you feel like you're not really a part of the team.
Hmm.
But I made sure that I wanted to, and I didn't really lose the fact that I was a part of the team in a way. I kind of stayed with the boys a lot. I still hung out with them, but lots of my time was dedicated to rehabbing my shoulder. I really wanted to make it back for the UMass Lowell games, but then we had a nice break after, so I didn't want to risk it. But now I'm 100% and ready to go. I think it's about time.
Yeah. Well, I love that. I love that you shared that. And I think it's important because I've been around organizations or teams when an injured player kind of feels like he's on an island by himself, especially if he's out long term. And I always, obviously, I work with injured players with the athletic trainer. Like I wanted them in there every day just so they could have something to do around their teammates. And some teams were old school. Like even back then, it was you had some coaches or general managers' philosophy was injured players come in before everyone else comes in, and they're out before everyone else comes in. Like I don't believe in that. It's not good for the it's not good for the person's mental health, I don't think. So I'm glad that you were included and still part of it, and then good for you. And so what you guys start up? I mean, this is going to go out in probably March, February, March, but we're in January here. So first game is on January 10th, and you're ready to go, right?
Yeah,
Awesome.
definitely ready to
Awesome. And yeah, so the NHL is a little different. It's not like the NFL where you get drafted and boom, you're on the whatever, the Patriots the next week. It doesn't happen that way. The NHL, they draft you at 18 years old, and it takes time. I mean, unless you're Macklin, right? And Macklin's
go. Yeah.
ripping up San Jose, right? Most of the time, especially for big defensemen like you, it could take a few years, and that's how it goes. And just because you were drafted, I mean, I hate to say this, but it doesn't mean anything. It's you
Right.
have to put in the work, and you have to
Mhm.
play good at Boston College and follow your path and your dream. And I think knowing you're going to come out on top. And I think that's really awesome. And I think this injury here is a small bump in the road. You've dealt with
Mhm.
worse shit in your life and hockey career before. And I think this is, I talk about that a lot is going through hard shit. You get better at it. And you certainly have gone through some hard stuff. And I think this is a small little hard thing. And I think you're going to be
Mhm.
fine when you get back. And I can't wait to watch you play.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Awesome, man. Well, I know you're busy, and I just want to say thanks for coming on. I love you to death, and I think our listeners will appreciate this because it's
Mhm.
more. This is a more human like connection type deal, and I'm glad I did this, and I
Yeah,
feel really good about doing this. So, all right, I love you, pal.
love you too.
I'm sure I'll talk to you in a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All
Bye.
right. See ya.
Bye.